What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Today we are doing our best of July, and it is our second time recording this. We had a technical snafu in the first episode, so we're going to keep this short and sweet. We're just going to hit 5 full-length albums that we both really enjoyed during the month of July. But before we get started, Dylan's got something he wants to share, so go for it, man.
Yeah, I just want to give a real quick shout out to our friends from Canada, the McRackins. They hooked us up with some nice shirts. We talked about their new record, Wake the Fun Up, last month. It's a great album. If you haven't already picked it up, head over to Mom's Basement and grab it. They got some really cool color variants. And hit up the McRacken store. They got a lot of really cool t-shirts on there and cool mailers they ship them into.
Yeah, it was such a flex to have the custom mailers. I've never seen that. But yeah, shout out McRackins. Also shout out to No Guidance from Germany, who sent me the shirt and a little care package. They had a new single that came out a few weeks ago. Go check them out. They're working on a new record, but the other album is really good too. I'll leave a link to both bands down below. But with that out of the way, Dylan, let's get into our first record here. We have Diesel Boy. Their comeback album is called Gets Old. It's their first album in 20-something years. And I've told you this is the best Diesel Boy album. I will die on that hill. I strongly believe it. I think that every song on this album has a hook. I think that every song has like funny lyrical content or interesting. They all have a different feel to them. My favorite songs so far are Bismarck. I love that part where it almost sounds like the Wheatus song Teenage Dirtbag, where he's doing the letter from the fan. And I also like Dirty Dishes and Lost Decade. But yeah, this is like a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10 punk rock album for me. It just feels like it came out in the 90s, but it's fresh. It's new. I love it. It's going to be top 5 at the end of the year. And I know you like it too, so let's hear your thoughts on it.
Well, first of all, I know they're probably watching this, so hello, Diesel Boy. Hopefully you guys are having fun on their European tour. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's not my favorite Diesel Boy album. I told you Cock Rock is my favorite. I want to touch on one thing you missed, the closing track, Two Stones, is a Tony Sly tribute, which is timely considering I think it was like a week or so ago that was the anniversary of his passing. But yeah, most of the albums, like the typical like sarcastic, like lowbrow humor. So that song kind of caught me off guard. It was a surprising moment of sincerity from Diesel Boy.
Yeah, I was reading an interview about it, and I didn't pick up, but then when I read the lyrics back, it did make sense. So yeah, Dylan and I both really like this record. I just grabbed the Yellow Splatter variant from Spam. They've got like 5 or 6 variants of this, I think. So go check it out if you like it. Go support Diesel Boy. Maybe we won't have to wait another 20 years for a new record if you go out and buy it. So yeah, that's our first one. Diesel Boy Gets Old. And I'm going to play Dirty Dishes, Dylan, which I think is your favorite track, if I'm not mistaken.
It changes every time, but yeah, that's a top 3 on the album.
All right, maybe I'll play Bismarck then. We'll see. I don't know what we're going to play, but here, check it out, and we'll move on to the next one.
Postmarked from Bismarck. It said, Dear Dave, I feel like a cowboy.
All right, so Dylan, our next record here is going to be Borderines, their album Keep Pretending. It came out late July on Hey Pizza, Mom's Basement, and Memorable But Not Honorable. And I know you really like this one, man, so let me hear your thoughts on Keep Pretending.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic album. It's kind of between Ramones core and pop punk, more towards the pop punk side of things. It reminds me of like the Methadones, the Copyrights, the Gamuts, and also kind of like Warning era Green Day a little bit. But yeah, just like pretty chill, laid back pop punk record. good like drinking music or good driving music, but not both at
Yeah.
the same time at least.
I'd go more Nimrod than Warning, but I could definitely hear what you're saying. And we talked about this too, but the press release described it as Green Day meets Menzingers. I think that's pretty accurate, and I think that's kind of what falls between Nimrod and Warning. But yeah, I like this the first time I heard it. The song How Many Hours is my favorite track on here. I think we featured it for Punk Rock Museum. That's probably going to be the one we're going to play. So yeah, this is Borderines, their debut album, Keep Pretending. Let us know what you think. All right, next record coming in from Allegedly Records. This is Paperback Tragedy. The album is called 8. And Dylan and I both really like the previous one, Threesh, however you pronounce it. But this one is, I think, significantly better. I think Dylan agrees. My favorite song in here is Nothing at All, but I also want to call out Silently Screaming because speaking of Tony Sly, this song, the melody is very reminiscent of Tony's solo song Flying South, which is my favorite Tony Sly song, so it was cool to hear an electric rendition of that. But yeah, overall, I think this is their best record too. I think you said it was their 4th album, and I'm really into it. It was a clear top 5 of July for me. What are your thoughts here, Dylan?
Yeah, everything you said. I mean, if you like Epiphat style melodic punk rock, then these guys are one of the heavy hitters going right now. They're from Baltimore, and it looks like they play shows a lot. So if you're from Maryland, hit up a Paperback Tragedy show. You won't be disappointed.
Some days are better. You feel nothing at all. Some days.
All right, next one is gonna be the Hemorrhoids. We haven't figured out exactly how to pronounce it, but
Let's debated the pronunciation of this. Maybe that'll be the next poll we do. How to pronounce this band name.
Yeah, this is called At the Earth's Core. Came out of Mom's Basement and Monster Zero, which, I mean, that tells you all you need to know right there. And I think this has potential to creep into my top 10 at the end of the year. It's got heavy Lillingtons vibes on it, and I love the Lillingtons, especially the later stuff. And it's got like a good amount of variety, and we talked about it. They've got 2 singers, so it allows them to kind of stray from the path of your typical Ramones core. You've got a lot of different sounding songs on here. Like, let's see, the title track to me sounds straight off of Death by Television, and then Hold Me Tight is like a Queers feel to it. So you're going to get quite a bit of variety on here, and that definitely works in the album's favor. But my favorite song so far is Drain My Brain. I also like Confused Lame-O. But Dylan, I know this is going to be probably top 10 for you at the end of the year as well. What are you finding that you like most about it?
Yeah, I have hit the link in the description to my written best of July on dyingscene.com. And I'm just going to read verbatim from that. This is the best Ramones core album of the year. That is my declaration. It's just a badass record. Total Lillingtons feel, especially Death by TV and the back channel broadcast era. But yeah, the whole album just is killer. Time Warp Incest, Iron Turd, and the title song. Those are my favorites, though.
All right, and it's got this awesome album art. So you can pick this up from both Mom's Basement and Monster Zero, depending on where you live. We'll have links down below to do so. But let's move on to our final album here. We've got Beat the Smart Kids. Album is called Hot Death. And I was not aware of who this band was. I got a random message at night on the website telling me to check this out. So I did, and it immediately went straight onto my playlist. This is Ska punk, very reminiscent of Mustard Plug, a little bit of Suicide Machines, a little bit of Crack Rock Steady thrown in there, and it's great to hear this stuff in 2023. I know we're getting a new Mustard Plug album very soon, but if you need something to hold you over, this is definitely something to check out. My favorite song so far is Senseless. I also like Counterfeit. But yeah, this is an awesome ska punk album. I think more people need to hear this. Very few listeners so far, 207 on Spotify, so definitely more people need to check this out. And Dylan, I know you are one of the 207, so what are your thoughts about this one?
If you like more traditional third wave ska than what's going on right now with all the new tone stuff that's more like heavy pop punk influence kind of stuff, then these guys are a band to check out. Definitely Mustard Plug feel, but also like Skank and Pickle, Slow Gherkin, like all those Asian man bands from the 90s. Beat the Smart Kids are in that camp more so than the newer style of stuff. And I think Counterfeit kind of pokes fun at the whole new tone thing that's going on too. I could be wrong, but that's what I got from the lyrics.
It could be.
But yeah, I like Counterfeit a lot. Twist the Knife is a solid openings track, and Into the Galaxy is another favorite of mine. But just a really good third wave ska album.
It's just so, it's just so, it's just that time. Veterans are judgment day.
All right. So that's going to wrap it up. Like we said, nice and short because it's our second time doing it. The first one was like 25, 30 minutes. So if you need more recommendations, feel free to message either one of us or leave a comment down below. Or the best way to get recommendations is in the Discord page because we're talking about music in there every single day. I will leave a link to that down below. Before we go, Dylan, anything else you want to say? Hey, we're prepping for we got the 2003 draft in an hour and a half. So I know you got some prep to do, but anything else you want to say before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, again, link in the description to Dying Scene. I have my written Best of July on there. It has all the albums we talked about, plus a few EPs and a bunch of singles, mostly from albums that are coming up in the next month or two that we're both very excited about. Making Friends, 7 Years Bad Luck, MXPX, Mustard Plug, a bunch of other bands. And there's also the link to the Spotify playlist down there for our best of 2023 as well. So check all of that out and keep watching Punk Rock Radar.
And it's just the way it is, so accept it, move along. The further questions, you'll never find the answers. Wrap them up and realize they're here to stay. Self-righteous screaming fucking virtue.
I do. Well, before we go, I want to talk about the MXPX because I think they have like an interesting strategy with the vinyl that I haven't seen very often. And
Exploit my weakness.
so if you guys don't know, MXPX put out like 5 variations. There's like an alternate cover. There's like a splatter, a swirl, a picture disc, and then like a flat orange and a flat black. But they made the flat black the rarest, followed by the plain orange. Right?
Yeah, the blinking black, the most limited, is becoming common practice now because most people aren't going to buy it because it's not a color variant. So you make it more limited than everything else, and then that's why people will buy it.
So why make it then? Like that's what I don't understand. For me, the black vinyl is for like the end pressing. You get all your color in the first couple, and then if you just to keep it in print. But for me, like I want to buy one of these, but I have this conundrum where I don't want the plain black, right? I know all vinyl's created equal, and I don't like. There's so many other cooler ones, but
The die cut's the coolest.
The die cut's the coolest, but there's like what 1,600, and then there's 250 of the black, 300.
This is how they get you.
That's the whole point I wanted to talk about. It was a very interesting marketing strategy.
Buy whichever one looks the coolest, because everything else is gonna be the same. The picture disc is probably gonna sound like shit. So I mean, there's that. Well,
the picture disc looks the coolest, so it goes against your strategy there.
Use your best judgment to make your buying decision.
All right. Well, if you guys bought the MXPX vinyl, let us know which one you bought. I'm curious to see if their strategy's working out here. If people are snatching up the plain orange and plain black, or if they're going for the cool looking ones that are less rare. I'm really curious. I don't see that very often. So let us know. And thanks again for watching. We'll see you all next time.